Hey everyone, welcome to the Santa Cruz Criterium. This is a very long-standing local crit out here in NorCal, like 50 something years. It's a couple blocks from the beach, easily one of the most gorgeous warm-up and cool-downs of the year, and it's also a super fun course. It's got this wicked technical U-turn you just saw. You're coming in downhill. It's kind of steep, especially towards the apex, and then the rest of it on this like top half of the course when you're looking at it has a couple of turns and is pretty fast, and then the majority of that bottom side of the triangle is an uphill. It's like maybe a 30-second uphill, not quite as like sharp and intense as some of the other hilly crits, but it definitely burns for a little bit longer. This one usually races a little bit more like a regular crit. Like, I've thought in the past years it's easy to sit in this race compared to other hilly crits, but I think that was just a function of we weren't going as fast as we possibly could. Because this year, it definitely felt harder than normal years, and there was a lot of attrition. This is the last corner here. It's super key to get that right so you can carry momentum onto the hill here. It's steepest at the bottom, straight out of that corner, so you can see getting out of the saddle here, doing lots of power. And then it starts to flatten off a little bit there, and then it flattens off even more towards the finish line. So on the last lap in the sprint, you got to like really hammer out of that corner to get up to speed, and then by the time you like have hammered and gotten up to speed, now you're like properly in the sprint and you're hammering again anyways. I thought, I mean, it's good to move up whenever it gets easy and goes across the road, but a spot that was usually pretty easy to move up for me was into this first corner every lap. So if you just drop down the inside here, say hi to all your new friends you're making, and then you can get a few spots there pretty easily just being late on your brakes. Some laps when it's really strung out in single file, that doesn't work, but it worked a lot of laps. The other times it was good to move up was if it like bunched up and went all the way across the road. That didn't usually ever happen on this like downhill side, but sometimes it would happen on the hill. Like you'll see here, it's bunching up. This would have been a good spot to move up if I wasn't already hurting so bad and just trying to hold on at the back. But the race was pretty hard. Felt a lot harder than in past years. I think there's just a lot of fast dudes out in NorCal this year. We've been taking KOMs on race courses like left and right, and you're gonna start to see some of that attrition I was mentioning. Dudes just getting dropped in the draft, have had enough of the hill, or deceptively hard part of this course is coming out of the hairpin here. This is one of the bigger efforts every lap. You see 500 watts out of the corner there just to get back in line. And if you look ahead, we're actually getting separated a little bit, so that was like not enough power to stay on either. It kind of sneaks up on you as a spot on the course that like seems like it shouldn't be that bad, but is a pretty good effort every lap. I think big key is just when gaps start to form, like you got to get on them. It's easier when the gap is smaller to get around it, and the backside of this course is so fast that having a draft makes like a pretty big difference. So you had like a little bit of like you could close a little bit of a gap, into this last corner or into that hairpin corner, but you kind of had to judge that because you're playing a very delicate game there. I ended up getting dropped early from the end of this one with like 4 or 5 laps to go when somebody let a gap open and I wasn't paying attention and it was too late. Still ended up finishing the race. Yeah, here you see another gap. You gotta just close it down. And finished on the lead lap, but dropped, and I think I was still like around 20th. So like a pretty attritional race this year. It was just like strung out and hard the whole time. One nice thing about it being so strung out most of the race was I do think it makes for a lot safer racing when there's, good control and it's fast paced at the front. I think we had one person crash in that first hairpin that we just went through, but it was like, by themselves on the outside of the corner, just clipping the pedal coming through, pedaling too soon. Nothing major. These cracks in the pavement on this backside have claimed a few front wheels over the years. There's like a little bit of a seam once you go out of the lane there into the shoulder, and that's kind of why you saw everybody hugging it there. Uh, here's another gap like we were talking about, uh, and I'm hoping this guy in front of me is gonna do it. But I know like we gotta. I would like to get around this guy before the hill because you really want to carry all your speed through this corner. Yeah, managed to sneak by him before the corner, and we had like a little gap to corner into, so got to carry pretty good speed there. You can see the field bunching up a little bit. There's my teammate Jack. I think we were all kind of getting worked a little bit today, but thanks for watching, guys. That was a Santa Cruz crit, and stay tuned for some more NorCal racing. Thanks for watching.